It's time to kick off the 4th of July weekend. But before we, start celebrating with our barbecues and everything else, first off, thank you so much for coming over to the candy shop, my lovely little candy canes. And as you come in, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment below because we are going to get into it today with some Real Housewives tea, drama, and recaps. So we can talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, what's going on with Nene and Cynthia, and who's coming back and who's not. We can also talk about the recap of the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, what's going on with Crystal versus Sutton, and where do we stand with Erica. And then the other housewives kind of struggling storylines are a little bit boring. They're struggling there a little bit. And then we can also talk about Real Housewives of New York. We got introduced to Bershan at the last episode, and a little bit of beef between Eboni and the rest of the girls. So as you guys come in, be sure to like, comment, let me know what you want to get started watching. And then also, before we do that, enjoy our little intro video. All right, let's get into it. Let's see who is here. Hey, Young Rich, he says, hey, 4th of July week, the 4th of July this weekend. Yes, Young Rich, the 4th of July is Sunday, boo. Yes, the 4th of July is this Sunday, so I hope everybody celebrates and have fun, but please just still stay safe. I know we're kind of getting out of the pandemic, but it's still going on. Just everybody just stay safe, celebrate, have fun, but be safe. So hey, Young Rich, hey. As you guys come in, welcome to the candy shop. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe and put a comment below. Where are you calling in from and what do you want to talk about? Where do you want to get started first? We have Real Housewives of Atlanta, we have Real Housewives of New York, and we have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So put it in the chat box. Where do you want to start? You guys, my candy canes, will guide this conversation. Hey, Natalie, she says, hi, Kandi. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? Hey, Chad Lover 72 goes, hi, Kandi. Hey, yes. Young Rich goes, I want to know your unpopular opinion of Bershan. Okay, we could get started with New York then, because I'm not sure if it is an unpopular opinion. I just in my gut think it might be, because I know everyone was saying before that they were so excited and they were so pumped. I had no idea who Bershan was before I saw her on Real Housewives of New York. So I want to get into my opinion on her as you guys come in. Hey, Chad Love 72. He goes, hi, Kandi Love from New Jersey. Yay, thank you for calling in from New Jersey. Yes. Happy news, my girl. Yes, she says, hi, Kandi. Hey, Candy Canes. Hey, Appy. We love you. Yes, love 7829D says, hi, Kandi and everyone. Hi, Beauty. Yes. So Natalia is also saying Real Housewives of New York. All right, so we have 2 for New York already. MJ says Atlanta. Okay, so 2 for New York, 1 for Atlanta. Hey, Kimiko. She goes, hey, Kandi and the Candy Canes live from Houston. Yes, we got Houston. We got Texas in the house. I love it. Hey, Malika Rose. She says, hey, yes. Young Rich says, Cali. That's right. You guys know I'm a Cali girl. I'm live from LA. Yes, thank you, Young Rich. The Vegas girl says, hi, Kandi. Hey, boo. Yes. Lux Bay Diva says, can you discuss Tabitha Brown read of Wendy Williams with love and grace? Ooh, we can get into that. That might be a separate live we could do. I will do a little bit more digging on that, but thank you for that so much. Yes. Hey, Angie B. He says, hello, Kandi from Philly. Yes, Philly is in the house. Chad Love 72 says, yes. Alex Bay Diva, yes. And Lux Bay Diva, hey, sweetheart, you said Nashville here and present. All right. Now that we have said our hellos and everybody has liked and subscribed, we got a couple more requests for Real Housewives of New York. So we'll do that first. Then we got some requests for Atlanta. So we'll do New York, Atlanta, and then we'll round out with Beverly Hills. But put your comments, put your questions right there in the chat box, and we will roll with this. Okay, so let's start with my unpopular opinion of Bershan from the last episode. Okay, so first of all, I want to say she's a cancer survivor, which she said on the show, and she's been very vocal about. I believe she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, I think maybe like 10 or 13 years ago. The doctors gave her 3 months to live, and by the grace of God, thankfully, she came out of it. She's been in remission, she's cancer-free, and she's kicked it, and she's here, and she's alive. So for that, I'm just not knocking her on that, and that's such a great, beautiful, powerful story and journey. So I'm so just grateful that she's alive and healthy and all that stuff. Okay, so with that being said, I don't like her, and I'm going to tell you why. So when Eboni, and again, just to preface this whole conversation, of course, is all alleged, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. Just always have to use that disclaimer. So here we go. So on the last episode, oh yes, thank you so much for the super chat to the Black Native. Hey, Kandi and the Cannon Canes. Mwah! Hey, sweet party. Yes. Oh, and Boxer T Girl says that Boxer T Girl, are you a 2-time survivor or is Bershan a 2-time survivor? Let me clarify that so we can celebrate you. Okay, so here we go. So the reason why I don't like Bershan, and hopefully she redeems herself, but based on the interview she did with Wendy Williams, I don't think she will, because she didn't seem to have any type of awareness of what she was doing. Okay, so during the Harlem Nights, right, that Eboni had with the girls, let me be very clear. I think she missed the mark with the Harlem Nights. It was a little bit more of like a history lesson in Black history. She had the cards, and you're Josephine Baker, you're this person, and this is what it means, da-da-da-da-da. Like, it was a little bit of a history lesson. I understand what she was trying to do. I think the way she did it missed the mark. Maybe have different cocktails. This is a Josephine Baker cocktail, and have everybody do tasting and do shots and have fun, or dance, or have strippers, or whatever it is, come out and do it. Like, make it a party. Don't make it a TED Talk. You know what I mean? But I think that her intention was in the right place. I just think the way she executed was wrong for where she was, right? So I think that was the biggest thing. It was the execution, not so much the intent of what she was doing. But what got me was when Bershan was like, to the entire group in front of everyone, was just like, oh, I'm so tired of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's like the white uptown girls, and it's like the other, and it's like the Black Harlem girls. Like, we're just all the same. We're all equal. I'm so tired of that. Like, we're all the same. We're all equal. First of all, sweetheart, yes, inherently all human beings are equal. However, to pretend like racism does not exist, to pretend like colorism does not exist, to pretend that prejudice does not exist, to pretend that there are inherent differences when you look at a Black girl versus when you look at a white girl versus when you look at an Asian girl versus when you look at a Hispanic girl. That's just the reality of the situation. And the reason why Bershan rubbed me the wrong way was because she, to me, seemed very like pick me person, and she was trying really hard to be the favorite woman of color, to be the chosen woman of color. Because you know how sometimes it works where it's like there's a group of white people or a group of like one group of color people, even if it's Black girls, you want to be like the one chosen girl. You want to be the token. And not to play anybody, but that's just the way it came across to me. Like, Bershan really wanted to be the chosen girl, the cool girl, the like, I don't see color either girl in the group at the expense of Eboni. Because Eboni would be, and this might sound bizarre or weird, but when you really think about it, when we think about seats at the table, when it comes to women, when it comes to minorities, usually we think there's only one seat at the table for us. Corporate America, we think there's only one seat at the table for a woman. You know, friendship groups, you know, with other cultures, we think there's only one seat at the group for the girl who's a minority. And so to me, it seemed like Bershan was being a very pick-me person, and she was trying too hard, and she was really throwing Eboni under the bus. And to me, she was trying to say, oh, I know, Eboni's one of those Black people who's just going to preach to you and preach to you and preach to you. She's so woke, but I'm the cool Black girl. let's just do some shots. I don't want to talk about race. I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. Let's just do some shots. Like, we're all the same. There's no us versus them, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. I actually agree with the consensus that, like Sonia said, that like, Eboni, you've made your point. Now we need to move on and talk about other things. Like, let's talk about guys and shopping and drama and fun and like, just like take some shots and show your boobs. Like, you know, like make it fun, make it drama, make it a reality show, right? So I agree with that. However, I don't agree with Bershan trying to throw Eboni under the bus to be the pick-me person. And so that is what really rubbed me the wrong way. And then when I saw her really placating to Leah when they went off and had a session, she's like, oh yeah, I just, you know, after I getting cancer, I just say whatever I want and like, I don't care and blah, 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 blah. And it seemed like, to me, it didn't seem like it was coming from a genuine place. Again, to me, it seemed like it was coming from a pick me, I'm cool, I'm one of you place, than less of a more authentic place. And then when she was on the show with Wendy Williams, she was just like, oh, you know, like, I know Eboni might have taken what I said wrong, but like, we all don't have to say the same thing and blah, 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 blah. She didn't really have any awareness of the way it came across or the way that it was received, because it really, and they even talked about it. Like, they're like, oh, well, you know, you're black and Eboni's black. So did everybody think that the two of you would automatically be friends because you're like the two black girls, right? And she was like, yeah, I know, but, you know, we'd like butt heads or whatever. And to me, it just seemed really like Bershan is the type of woman who thinks there's only one seat at the table for a girl like me, and I'm going to assimilate, and I'm going to be the pick-me at the expense of other people. That's just what it seemed like to me. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think? Do you like Bershan? What did you think of how she treated Eboni when she came in? And then we can also get into like Ramona and stuff and all that stuff. So let's see what you guys are saying up in here. Yes, yes, yes. So Chad DeLove says, yes, Lux Bay. Yes, yes, yes. Lux Bay Diva said Nashville here and present. Absolutely. Hey, Amanda NBS. Hey, Kandi, the Candy Canes. Hashtag Minneapolis. Hello, hello, hello. Love 7829D says Georgie, originally from Brooklyn via Caribbean Island. Ooh, that sounds fun. Let me find out about that. Hey, Baxter girl, two-time survivor. That's right. So are you a two-time survivor, or is Bershan a two-time cancer survivor? So let me know. Let me know. Hey, Miles Kidman, who do you think replacing Meghan McCain? I mean, I don't know, but I wasn't sad to see her go. Like, Meghan McCain is a whole nother bag of problems. She's extremely problematic and just very, very hard to watch, which is a shame because I'm a very liberal person. I'm a Democrat, very, very liberal. And I would have liked to actually have had someone on the show who could articulate in a meaningful and respectful way their opposing opinions and position to mine, so I could have an understanding of how the other side thinks. So to me, the way Meghan would be on the show, and she was just so disrespectful and just like screaming and so unprofessional, she kind of defeated the purpose of having a Republican voice or like a more conservative, more right-wing voice on there. Because I don't want to just hear people who agree with me all day. I want to expand my mind. I want to learn something new. I want either my beliefs to be confirmed by what the other person is saying, where I'm like, wow, you know what? I really stand in my belief now that I understand what you believe. Or maybe my mind could be open to another perspective. But when the message comes from someone like Meghan McCain, you miss me all the time. So I'm happy she's leaving. Who can replace her? I'm not sure. Maybe that Anna woman who comes on that sometimes, right? She's a Republican. She's conservative. Maybe she could be the voice. So we'll see. Hey, Sasha T, she says, hey, Kandi of the Candy Canes. Hey, love. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Natalia, she says Dorinda should come back. I agree. And I think Dorinda will be back. I think she needed to take a break for just this season, but I think she'll definitely be back next season. And she is missed. Missed. Because I feel like Real Housewives of New York is flat. Even like Beverly Hills is kind of flat. I feel like the franchises all have been really flat except for Potomac. But the rest have been really flat. Like even like these like RHONY, like Ramona was being like, oh, I don't want Eboni to preach to me about race. But when they take the picture, she's like, well, I don't like it that there's white on this side and black on this side. Let's mix it up. So which is it, Ramona? Are you tired of being preached to about race, or now you are like the most woke person in the group and you want to make sure it's a salt and pepper mix? Pick a side. Pick a side. And I do think that she was overreacting when Eboni came to her house for drinks and sushi. I think Eboni was just talking about like, oh, like we might have a female vice president. That's the first in our, lifetime, and our daughters can watch it, blah, blah, blah. And then I think Ramona just was already on her soapbox of like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to talk about it. And she went off on the deep end. So that was a bit much. And I also think Eboni, her mind was already tainted by what Sonia was saying. Like, oh, Ramona's just posting pictures of you and Bershan because you two are Black girls and she doesn't want to look like a racist. So she's doing performative Instagram post. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Hey, Darren Higgins. He says, hey, Candy Canes. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Eric Jules. I like Bershan. I can't wait till my girl Devin Simone debut on next week's episode. Yeah, I'm excited to watch Devin. I really, really do. And you were saying you like Bershan. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I didn't like about her was the way she kind of threw Eboni under the bus to be like, I'm the cool Black girl. I'm the one who doesn't see color. Let's just do that. And I feel like she could have been cool and she could have been that, but she didn't have to do it at the expense of Eboni. She could have been like, oh, I'm having so much fun. This is great. How about we try and do this, this, and this, and this, and this? Like, just naturally jazz it up and just be that girl rather than saying you're that girl. Because when you say you're that girl, you're basically saying, I'm not her. Pick me. I'm the favorite. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Young Rachel goes, I think Omarosa or Tommy Lahren, whatever her last name is, might replace her. Wow. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Omarosa. What do you guys think about Omarosa replacing her? That could be something. Omarosa knows how to play the part. I know how she loves to play the part. Hi, my opinion, not yours. Oh, you're beautiful and uplifting spirit. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Yes, yes, yes. We are getting into it. Hey, To Be Native, I am more conservative, but I think Elizabeth should come back. I am sure she's grown since last time. Elizabeth might come back. She is that's a really good option. Elizabeth might come back. 100%. 100%. Hey, Natalia, she was 5 housewives is not enough, at least 7. I agree. And I think that's what's making everything so flat with the Real Housewives of New York. One is that we've already seen all of their storylines play out. Like, I don't really know what their storylines are at this current moment. And it is the 5 of them. We do need some more blood. We do need some more housewives to jump in. I agree with that 100% because the episodes are falling a little bit flat. And we're getting just repetitive storylines over and over again. There's really not that much going on. But that was kind of my unpopular opinion of Bershan. I really thought that her throwing on Eboni under the bus was, I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Because I've been in those situations where I've been one or two of the only minorities in the room, and having the other girl who's a minority kind of like look down on you and kind of put you down because they want to be like the token one. So, I mean, when I saw her do that, I was just like, girl, bye. That is not cool. And then Sonia didn't really do much this episode. Ramona just kind of lost her mind when Eboni came over and just asked her about a female vice president. That was that. I did think it was endearing with Luann and her daughter having that moment, and Luann was just like, I'm so sorry. I know I've really messed up with things and all that. So that was that. But should we switch gears? Should we head over to Hotlanta and see what's going on over there? Hey, Darren Hood, we're needing 7 housewives. It's too flat at times. I agree. It's very, very flat. Very, very flat. But let's switch over to RHOA. All right. So now we have some drama going on. I think it's all... what do you call it? I think it's all made up drama. I don't think the drama is real. I think this whole thing about Nene being asked back, I think it's just to drum up ratings and to drum up anticipation for the show. I just don't really see NBC and Bravo bringing her back after everything that she did. Like, I know she's been out here now saying that, being like saying like nicer things to Andy. Hey, Young Rich. He goes, RHOA definitely needs 7 housewives. I think all of them need 7 housewives. 5 is not enough. it's just not enough, especially when certain housewives don't have strong enough storylines or personalities to carry the attention on their own. You need the ensemble and you need more people. Definitely. And I don't know, in my gut, and let me know what you guys think. Do you think Bravo is really asking her back, or do you think that's a stunt that either she's putting out because she really wants to put back? Because you know how these celebrities and the reality stars will plant their own stories to create a narrative. Or do you think Bravo's putting it out there because they want to drum up interest and intrigue for the upcoming season, since last season was so flat and didn't do so well? Because I just don't see them bringing her back. And then it was the whole rumor about how Nene was like, well, I'll come back, but only if Cynthia's gone, only if you fire Cynthia. Like, I'm not coming back with Cynthia. And then Cynthia confirmed, I think, in her interview with People magazine, that she doesn't have a contract yet. Apparently, she doesn't have a contract. Apparently, Kandi is still in negotiations. It seems as though the only people who are confirmed to come back are Kenya, Portia. Oh, we'll talk about Portia and Drew. And I got this from Tamara Tattles, and I also watched a little bit of Empire Daily. So I want to give shout outs to where I heard this from. To me, Drew makes no sense. I don't know why they're giving her another peach. I think she needs to leave and go back to wherever she came from. Portia is understandable. Kenya understands the assignment and she does her job. She plays the villain role very, very well. But so far, Kandi and Cynthia are not yet 100% confirmed. I do think that Kandi will be back. But I think Cynthia's on the chopping block. So yeah, and that's where that whole beef is coming from. But she said she doesn't have a contract yet. And then Nene has been out here bad-mouthing Kandi basically to anyone that will listen. That's what you got. Basically to anyone that will listen. She has been calling Kandi a house ninja, a house the N-word, which is insane. And to me, Nene is doing the absolute most. And that's why I really believe that she's planting stories, or this is just something that's inflated, because I just don't see Bravo bringing her back. I just don't see it. But let me see what you guys are saying. So Natalie is saying Nene should come back. Cynthia didn't receive a contract, right? And allegedly they started filming 3 days ago or next week. Right. Well, according to Tamara Tattles and Empire Daily, they were saying that filming hasn't started yet, but it was either supposed to, or it should have, or it usually has. So maybe like next week. But you're right. Cynthia said that she didn't receive a contract yet. So, but they haven't started filming yet, so you still never know. And who knows, maybe all of this stuff is just to get us back talking about them, drum up anticipation for the next season, and all of that stuff, because it was also been said that Bravo was not interested, at least on The Real Housewives, of playing out the Portia Simon Fallon saga. Like, they might do it on Portia's little spinoff that she has. Well, not even spinoff, it's more like a special that she has going on, but they don't want to really carry that storyline into The Real Housewives of Atlanta itself. So who knows what's going on with that. But like, I wouldn't mind seeing Nene back. I think she would come back and really bring it, but I'm just not sure that after everything she said and everything that she did, that the studio, the company would bring her back under those circumstances. But let's see what you guys are saying. So Young Rich says, I like Drew, and he's crying. See, I mean, this is the thing. I like Drew. It's nothing personal against her, but do I need to see her life on the next season? No, not really. Like, I just don't think she's that interesting. Like, I'm not invested in what's happening to Drew, and I'm not invested in like her opinion or her shade on things. So I would want to bring someone on that I'm just like more invested in, if that makes sense. Hey, Appy News. She goes, Nene burned too many bridges. That's what I'm saying. I doubt that they will let her back into the show. I think that they're engineering drama for the upcoming season. Appy News, I agree with you 100%. I just don't see them bringing Nene back. I mean, Nene's whole entire team dropped her, and she had to get like a new like agency and all that stuff. Like, I just don't see NBC and Bravo being everything that she did and everything that she said so publicly bringing her back. I just don't see it. I think this is either production in Bravo just trying to drum up ratings and interest for the next season, and or it's Nene planning stories to drum up interest to get her back. being like, see, everybody wants me back. See, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. She's fighting with Kandi, so she'll be like, I'll have that storyline. She's been beefing with Cynthia. I'll have that storyline and everything else that she's doing. And again, everything that she's been saying about Kandi, to me, again, my opinion, allegedly, I think Nene or someone in her camp or someone on her team really was the one that called in Kandi's restaurants for those pop-up inspections. Because Nene is just too vindictive and just so mean about Kandi. And Kandi really hasn't done anything to Nene. Kandi has just been winning and making her money and minding her business. And I think Nene was just so jealous that Kandi got the restaurant spin-off that Nene had wanted for her Lenithia Lounge. So I think she's trying to sabotage it. My opinion, allegedly. Hey, Darren Hood. He goes, I didn't understand Drew as much. I agree. Exactly. I don't understand the Drew appeal. Like, she doesn't, to me, she kind of like fades in the background. Like, she could have been anyone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, in the season, like, it's just, she was just there. And then except for the weird stuff with Toya, like, she could have been anybody. She didn't have that presence for me. Like, I didn't want to like see more of her. That's what you guys are saying. Hey, Natalie. She goes, Natalia, or let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't want to slaughter anybody's names. Okay, I think they want Nene back for ratings. They should bring Claudia, Sheree, Kim, and Lisa back. Okay, I definitely agree with Claudia. I would love to see Claudia Jordan back. Sheree, maybe not. I just don't want to see her with Jail Bay, Prison Bay. I don't know, just enemy. I don't want to see it. Kim can go skip rock. She's a little too racist and a little too weird, and just she thought she was so above it all. And I wouldn't mind having Lisa back. Why not? But I want some new, fresh blood. I want some new, fresh blood, some new women with new perspectives and new lives and new tea and new storylines. Because I think that's why these franchises are falling flat. They're not picking the right talent, or at least not the right combination of talent. And a lot of these women have been on for so long that there's no there anymore. There's no story. Like, I like Cynthia, but like, what do we need to see about Cynthia? And then the new people they're picking, like these Drews and these Latoyas, it's just like, what? They don't really represent what the franchise is even about. So I think there needs to be a shakeup in production and a shakeup in casting. Hey, Young Rich, he says, I'd rather have Drew instead of Cynthia and Latoya. Well, when you put it that way, I actually would rather have Drew instead of Cynthia and Latoya because I didn't like Latoya, and she to me just wasn't like a housewife. She wasn't like in the franchise, and she was doing the most, and it was way too much. Cynthia, I do feel like her storyline has ran its course, and that's kind of over. So if it was out of the three of them, I would pick Drew just because maybe something can pop off. She does have the husband who disappears for days and nobody knows where he goes or why. She does have the meddling mother. So yeah, maybe she can bring more, but I need her to bring more. I need her to have a more personality, a more distinctive point of view. I need her to have more going on. I just need Drew to show up in a different way because to me, she just was just there. So out of the three, I think she has the most potential. So out of that, yeah, definitely. Hey, Natalie. She goes, Nene's ego is too big. 3. I agree with you 100%. Her ego really was her own demise. Like, she kind of forgot that she was the talent and that she was doing a job. And she kind of thought that she was bigger than the job, and she kind of thought that she was bigger than the show. But you always have to remember that this isn't the Nene show. It's not the Nene network. It's the Real Housewives of Atlanta on Bravo under NBC. So with that, you do have executives, you do have bosses, you do have production, and you're on an ensemble cast. You do have castmates. So I think Nene kind of forgot her place in it, and not in a disrespectful way, and not like know your place and bow down, like not like that at all. But you do have to have a certain level of humility and a certain level of self-awareness. And you have to be a team player. You're going to be on an ensemble cast, and these are your bosses. These are the people that write your checks for a service that you provide. So I do think that her ego got too big, and I do think she kind of like forgot herself, right? Yeah, big. Yeah, we got it. Thank you, sweetheart. We got it. Yes. Let's see what you guys are saying in here, in these chats. Hey, love 7829D goes, if Bravo utilized this rumor as a stunt, then I believe they would take her back. Money will make businessmen do as needed to maintain their business, and she is good for ratings. This is business. No, I agree that it's business, and I agree that she's good for ratings, but I also think that the same way they didn't succumb to what her demands and everything is the same way I think that they won't bring her back. Because she did say publicly all of these things. She said Andy was on the C word, Andy was racist, all of the executives, she talked bad about her team, they all dropped her. Like, it was just a lot. And she could have moved differently. Like, she could have moved like Mariah did. Mariah was quiet. Mariah did her lawsuit. She stood up for herself. So I think that Mariah moved like a businesswoman. Mariah wasn't on Twitter calling people racist and calling everybody on her team taking a check and or whatever, and she didn't call Andy Cohen a C-word head or whatever. She still sued them. She still has a lawsuit. She's still handling her business, but she didn't do it in such a public, dramatic way. And I kind of think if Nene had moved more in that way, then sure, maybe they would be open to bringing her back. But I just don't see them doing it. But I could be wrong. She could pop up on the next season and be like, I'm back, like the wig's back or whatever. Like, you're right, it is business. But I do think that in business as well, especially when you're dealing with entertainment industry, executives, they view the talent, and to be transparent, that is what Nene is. She's just the talent. They view the talent as disposable. They view it as, we made you, we can replace you. And that is the message that they were sending to Nene last season and the season before that, when she was, or the other season when she was demoted to a friend of, and then and then basically pushing her out, you know, all but firing her. The message that they were sending was, you are the talent and this is your job. So I don't know. I just given everything that she did, I don't see them bringing her back, but they could. Hey, Tequila, her fart goes, I love Nene and I wish she would just move on. Me too. And that's another thing I'm saying. It's like, if Nene had moved differently, then maybe she could have gotten a spinoff. You know, maybe her time at The Real Housewives of Atlanta was over, but that doesn't mean that she couldn't have had her own Lenithia Nene Lounge. Like, just because Kandi got a spinoff about her restaurant, that doesn't mean that Nene couldn't get one. And I think she, like, what is it called when you cut your nose to spite your face? I think that's what she did. She shot herself in the foot. I think she was suffering from jealousy and comparison syndrome. She thought, and again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the New York stuff. And some people think there's only room at the table for one person. They think that opportunities are limited and finite and scarce. That's not true. Opportunities are infinite and abundant, and there's opportunities for everybody. They have a Vanderpump Rules about a restaurant. They have, Kandi spinoff about a restaurant. They have there is room for everyone. And I think that in Nene's mind, and this is why, I think she's going so hard for Kandi now and is being so bitter and so spiteful, is that in Nene's mind, she thought, Kandi got a show, that means I can't get one. And that's why she went so crazy and lost her mind, which is not true at all. There is enough space for everyone. Think about how many shows there are about, you could count in your hand, there's so many shows about cooking, restaurants, reality TV, family drama shows, Big Brother type shows. Like, there are so many different types of shows, all in the same genre. There is enough room for everyone. But I think Nene thought, Kandi got what I wanted, now I can't get it. And that's why she's going so hard at Kandi. And I think that's why she lost her damn mind when it came to Bravo and everything else. She just felt like, you're giving what I want to somebody else. That means you're racist. That means you're bad. That means you're this, that, and the third. But where was all this energy, Nene? And I do like Nene, but I'm just saying, where was all of this energy when you were the favorite? when you were being paid so much money, when you were getting not necessarily spinoffs, but I do think they did a couple one. They did a spinoff with like her wedding and all that stuff. And when you were getting, you know, all like the acting jobs and the Chicago and all that stuff, and you know, you were on not Glee, but the New Normal and all that stuff, and you and Andy were BFFs, going out to drinks and all that stuff. Where was the energy when you were the favorite? Where was the energy when the executives and Andy was serving your agenda? Were they racist then? Was Andy a C word then? To me, it just doesn't track. It really seemed more like, I'm no longer getting my way. You gave the show I wanted to Kandi. I'm going to put you all on blast. And so it didn't really seem like it was coming from an authentic place. That's just how it seemed. And I think that she could have played it so differently. Just because Kandi got a spinoff, that doesn't mean that Nene couldn't get one. And I think she kind of missed the forest for the trees, or whatever, however it goes. Hey, you go, Real Housewives of Atlanta should do 2 or 3 more seasons, then revamp. See, I don't even think 2 or 3 more. I think they should do, and I've said this before, I think they should do like an OG send-off special. Bring on the OGs, and then do a send-off special, and then the next season have either scrap the show or have a whole new cast. Because the way it's working now, it's not. It's just not working. And I don't really want to come see more people do the same recycled stuff. Like everyone's like, oh, Phaedra, Sheree, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, like, and also it's like those people have had their time. Let's get some new talent, some new faces. Let's give other people a chance. There are so many. Oh, hey, Bella, I'll bring you on. You know what I mean? There are so many people who are talented and who are funny and who are, you know, interesting. Let's give some other people chances to be on TV. Let's give some other people chances to shine, right? That's kind of what I think. Hey, Bella, do you want to tell us? Hi.
Hello. Yes, I completely agree. I was a big fan of Nene, and honestly, until the end. But when she went after Andy, when she did certain stuff, the way she went about it was completely incorrect. And I don't agree with that. And that ruined her. She can never go do business with NBC, anything that relates to NBC, Bravo, Universal, any of it anymore. Because no one, like, we don't know how they don't know. Like, she's a liability. And that's very incorrect. And also, yes, Real Housewives of Atlanta is not good. It is not good. Like, I don't know what they tried to do with the whole Bolo situation. It was boring. Kenya was doing her job, I guess, but like it was boring. It was not fun. Like I missed the fun Atlanta, where people were cracking jokes, having a good time. They think we want drama. Like that's why I love Real Housewives of Beverly Hills so much, this season especially, because even though there is drama, it is still light and fun and enjoyable to watch. And that's why I'm also a big fan of Married to Medicine, because it's still an enjoyable show. So yeah, they need to revamp Real Housewives of Atlanta. They need to get rid of Kenya. They need to get rid of Portia. Like, I'm tired of the whole Simon situation. I don't want to hear about it during the season, because we already saw everything that came about it. It's boring. Very boring. Drew, I don't know what's wrong with her. LaToya, I don't know what's going on. Cynthia should have been gone like 3-4 seasons ago. She, like, no storyline. Kandi, yeah, she's about businesses, but no storyline. So, I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Cynthia should have been gone. And again, no one has a strong storyline. No one has like anything truly going on that I'm invested in, where I'm like, oh, I have to see what happens to them next week. I have to see what plays out in their life. Like, there's no storylines. And the whole Portia thing, you're exactly right. And now they're doing Portia like unfollowed Simon and then refollowed him this morning, trying to drum that up because it kind of de-escalated, right? Like for the last like week or so, we haven't really been talking about Simon, Fallon, and Portia. And I think that they're doing this as a stunt just to get back into the media and back into like us talking about them. But like, who really cares at this point? So I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah. Natalia, do you wanna share?
Yes, hi Kandi.
Hi,
Can you hear
how
me?
are you? Yes, we can hear you.
Fine. So I feel the reason why Nene doesn't want Cynthia back is because the issue Nene had with Kenya. So like Nene didn't inform Cynthia that Kenya was coming. So that's why I think she hold it against Cynthia. That's why she don't want her to come back. But I feel Cynthia should stay.
Mm-hmm.
Should stay just to be like the pretty face of the show. Yeah, that's why.
So Cynthia is to stay as the pretty face of the show.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the girls are beautiful. You know what I mean?
You're right about that. Mm-hmm.
Like I think a lot of the girls are beautiful. So it kind of, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, 2B? Hey, Beauty, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing? Where's your niece?
Good. She's here. She's in the other room. She's here. We're having a ball.
You gonna bring her out?
Maybe. I might go get her. We'll see. She's a teenager, so she's way cooler. She's doing all her thing.
I'd love to meet her.
Okay.
You know, I like Drew. And as far as Nene, I think she's more excited about Lenithia's restaurant. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And she wants I don't know. I agree with you. They probably won't let her come back.
I don't think so.
But Kandi's a boss girl. But she's got so much going on. I'd like to see Sheree and Lisa come back because they know each other. And then maybe get one younger girl and keep Drew. So, you know, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think? I think that would work.
Yeah, I think that could work. I want some new faces. I want fresh talent. You know, I feel like they're going into like season 15, 16, 17, 14. Like
I lost track.
I lost track too. So I kind of want fresh talent, fresh faces, like give a new crop of girls a chance to come out and do the thing and have that opportunity. It's almost like when you see movies and it's the same group of actors over and over and over again. And you're like, yeah, we get it. You got the come up and you're doing it with your friends, but like, can other people have a chance to make movies? Can other people have a chance to be on TV shows? You know, so it kind of gets to where it's like fatigue and you're like, there's so much talent out there, untapped talent.
Right.
It's time to give other people a chance to shine and to be on these shows rather than recycling the same people over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you 100%. And I do think that Nene is focused on Lenithia Lounge. But do you think that that's why she's mad at Kandi? Because Nene was trying to get a spinoff about her lounge. But then Kandi got the spinoff about her OLG restaurant. So do you think that plays into it?
I didn't think about it until you said it. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Why?
And I think in Nene's mind, she thought, because think about the way they dragged Kandi for, remember the whole Black Lives Matter movement when Kandi went to the Bravo's executive and just like, okay, well, like, since we're all talking about this, let's do an initiative to have more Black-owned production companies have a chance to do, you know, like behind the scenes stuff, to be directors and writers and producers. She wasn't saying hire her company. She was just saying hire more Black companies. And then remember when they dragged her Yeah, and they're like, you went to the Bravo's executive behind our back, and then Portia was showing some weird copy and paste text messages that were out of order and didn't even make any sense, because those girls had wanted to go to Bravo to get their own programming. It wasn't really about Black Lives Matter, because if you really listen to what they were saying, they wanted to go to Bravo as a group to get their own show, because Portia had been doing chat room, and so she was they were trying to go to get like host or like do another show. To me, it didn't really seem like they were really caring about Black Lives Matter. And so Kandi was just like, I'm confused. Why does it matter? Why are you so pressed that I went to them to talk about bringing in more Black talent? Because what Kandi did would help everyone. But if you go back and listen to what Portia was saying, they were saying that they wanted to talk about programming. And to me, programming is when you're going to talk about getting your show on the program, on the schedule, getting a new show for them. So to me, I'm just sort of like, if you had that mentality where you wanted to call Kandi selfish and drag her because she just took the initiative to go to them about this, you probably have that mentality that like, oh, well, Bravo gave Kandi the show that I was supposed to get. And that's why she's out here calling Kandi a house N-word, which to me is ridiculous. Yeah.
I think that's so ridiculous because I don't see no house ninja nowhere in Kandi. Kandi's a businesswoman and she's more business minded than them. I mean, everything she touches turns to gold. She's had the candy factory. You know, she's a boss bitch, okay? She's a good woman. I like Kandi, and I like Nene, and I like Portia, but you know, they just they don't think like Kandi thinks. Kandi always thinks like a boss, and she thinks collectively, like, let's get some more. I think Kandi had the right heart in it. Let's get some more Black folks up in here, you know, and let's make this thing, you know, like, you know, when Ice Cube went to Donald Trump, he went to Biden first, and then he went to Donald Trump. And everybody's like, oh, why are you going to Donald Trump? Well, Biden said, not until I get elected. And, you know, I voted for Biden, of course, because, you know, that was the right thing to do. But, you know, I'm kind of like this. When it comes to, I don't want to be Republican or Democrat. I want to be independent because, you know, I have my own thoughts. I'm conservative, and I want to have like my own thoughts. And I'm B1. Have you heard of Claude Anderson? No. Well, you should get his Powernomics books and read them.
Okay.
They're in fact, you know, my pastor had done I used to live in Los Angeles, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Cali girl. I was born in California. I was born in Northern California, but I lived in Southern California for 36 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, my pastor, I don't know if I want to say his name. He's with the Lord now. But he did a series called Race, Religion, and Racism. And Claude Anderson's books were read on his series.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you, 2B. Stay on if you want. Josie, do you want to share?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say. One,
okay, yeah.
I like Kandi and everything, but I'm sorry, Kandi was not Black Lives Matter. Let's go back a couple of seasons when she allowed her mother to trash everybody Black on that show. She allowed her mother to trash Carmen, who was doing nothing wrong. Her mother was calling Carmen hoes, saying that she would sleep with her husband. She allowed her mother to trash Todd's mother and father. All of these people were Black. She allowed her mother to trash Phaedra. She allowed her mother to trash a lot of people. And if we go back, and if Phaedra made a fatal mistake by telling that lie and having that lie spread, because Phaedra was the first one that came on this show with Black Lives Matter. Remember when that guy tried to blow up her or came after her at her law firm, and she said, we can't go after that guy. We have to remember that Black Lives Matter. And Kandi was the one who said, all this Black, what Black Lives Matter and all this stuff. When this guy did that, the guy did try to blow up your thing. Kandi shut that down. Kandi was the one who shut Phaedra down when Phaedra said that guy had a mental issue that caused him to come to her law firm because he didn't get off of a crime a couple years ago. It's some people who've been watching the show when Phaedra was on the show who will remember that guy that came to try to blow,
I remember him.
to Phaedra.
I said I remember him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happened. And if Kandi was the one that shut Phaedra down on that. And when it came down to supporting Phaedra, she had a husband who was running the streets, cheating on her, leaving her to raise 2 children. And what did she do? She said, I'm going to support Apollo and not support Phaedra. I did not like that. And I really think that Phaedra really blew up. It just went too far. Phaedra went way too far with that. But we cannot act like Kandi has been perfect. She has not been a perfect friend. She has never shut her mom down. She has never supported Black people when her mother was trash. And she said that Todd's mother was a prostitute and her father was her pimp. Come on now. Come on.
I know.
Even with the Black Lives Matter and her going to the network, I'm glad that she did wake up and realize that this thing happened, because really Black Lives Matter last year woke a whole lot of people up, including Black people. But I just can't give Kandi that much attention to say, oh, she's been amazing the entire time she's been on the show. No, I'm sorry. She has not been a supportive friend to Phaedra. Who was supposed to be with Phaedra when her husband was out here doing all this stuff? Nothing.
Right.
He was hiding expensive items at her house and she wasn't telling her friend.
Right, sorry. Josie. No, it's okay. No, stay on, because I wanna chat about what you said. So definitely stay on, okay?
I promise.
So I don't want to conflate drama on the show with Black Lives Matter movement, because they're 2 separate things. So I'm not saying that Kandi is innocent of never being a part of drama, but Black Lives Matter, really the root of it is about police brutality in America, killing minority men and women at a disproportionate amount as they do to white people. So the core of the Black Lives Matter movement is actually about police brutality against Black and brown people in America. That is the root of it. George Floyd was really what blew it all up. What piggybacked off of the Black Lives Matter was then the bigger question of institutionalized racism in our country. So off of the Black Lives Matter movement, then you had people talking about, well, support small Black business owners, make sure we have representation in the media, make sure that we have Black writers, Black producers, Black directors, Black executives, Black decision makers, shop locally, shop Black, highlight Black designers, really start to question your own internalized racism, question your own internalized colorism, have the tougher conversations about racism and institutionalized racism, and like in the corporate level, bigger. So the whole Black Lives Matter movement wasn't really about whether or not you're on a reality show and your mom pops off and your best friend. So I want to just make sure those are 2 different things. So when I talk about Kandi being a part of the Black Lives Matter movement, what she did was in alignment with it. She went to the executive at Bravo's, and what she said was, she didn't say hire Kandi Coded Nice Productions. She says, I want to use my power. I want to use my position here to make it known that I want you to hire more Black-owned production companies, get more Black writers, producers, production, casting executives. That's what Kandi did. And I know some people in the chats were like, well, why didn't she wait? Wait for what? Kandi doesn't need the permission of the other women to use her own power that she got on her own to leverage it for other people. What the women in the chat group, if you go back to watch what Portia said in the text messages, they were trying to leverage their power to get a new show for themselves. And then that's why Portia was like, oh, well, I guess we can just ask for a donation now. That doesn't make any sense. If you really had an initiative with Black Lives Matter that wasn't about you, what were those initiatives? You could have went to Bravo and you could have said X, Y, and Z. Now you're just saying you want a donation because, again, it goes with their faulty thinking that there's only room for one, that there's a limited space. So when they thought Kandi went and was like higher Black, they were like, oh, well, now that Kandi went, we can't go. No, you should have went too. Yeah. Just because Kandi went doesn't mean you can't go. It's faulty thinking. It doesn't make any sense. And I think the root of it is literally they're jealous of Kandi because Kandi really is that bitch. And she really does have the money and she really does have the power. So that's a separate conversation from creating a show based on drama. Because yes, you know, Kandi's mom has gone off on people. Phaedra had her own stuff going on that with like Apollo and that all went out. So of course Kandi's been a part of the drama, but just because you pop off on a show, a reality show, and your castmates are Black, that doesn't mean that you're not about Black Lives Matter. And just because your mom pops off on people who are Black doesn't mean that you're not supporting Black people. If the people you hang out with are Black, you're going to pop off on them. Doesn't mean you don't support Black people. It just means you're popping off at your friend. Right? So I think that the BLM conversation is different from the Kandi and her mom and the pop-up stuff, right?
I was thinking of that because of what the last person was saying. But I will say this, though. Phaedra was the one that brought it up because she's always been supporting Black lives. She's been supporting Black lives because it's been since Trayvon Martin. That's when Black Lives Matters came about. So that's all I just really wanted. I when the last person was speaking, I was just like, I don't know about Kandi always being so great. I just wish there could be someone that could come on the show that could get to challenge Kandi and Kandi that say, well, no, don't bring up my mother. No, don't bring up my this. Don't bring up my this. But all those things are part of you because you bring all of those things on the show to attack other people. Think about it. She gets a room full of people and she says, let's hate Portia. We're going to talk about her this year. Okay, next year we're talking about this person. We ain't gonna like this person, and she really does do that. So all of those people are part of Kandi's drama, and when she allowed those people to attack Phaedra and then to attack Portia, I do believe that that all of those people should get to come back against Kandi, and Kandi should be held accountable for what she allows a camera to be in front of these people's faces, and they get to say to millions of people a year. She said, no, I don't want to hear what they say. But, drag them
but see, okay, I understand what you're saying, but she's also a part of a reality show, and a part of a reality show is bringing on your family and your friends. The same exact way Portia brings on Shamia every season to be her mouthpiece and to speak on her behalf. So, you know, so I think that all of the cast members have families and friends that come on to speak on their behalf and to follow up on their agenda. And I do think that there needs to be, yes, a mother can pop off, but mothers are still off limits. Like there has to be a bottom to the petty. The same way you don't go after somebody's children, you don't go after somebody's mother. So there has to be a level of respect on it. But let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, because I want you guys to weigh in as well. So everybody stay on if you want. If you need to pop off, that's fine, but you're more welcome to hang out. But let's see what's going down in the chat box. Let's see. So P says, Kandi also supports the community with food. Yeah, Kandi does a lot in the community. And I kind of think that's why the women kind of go after her so much, because she is legitimate. And she is so respected. And I think they kind of want that position that Kandi plays, but they may not have the business acumen or the reputation to go about it. So let's see what you guys are saying. Young Rich says Keely Williams or Giovanna from Clark would challenge her. Would challenge who? Kandi? Is that who they would challenge? Okay, and Young Rich says exactly, somebody new need to come for Kandi and make her work for that check. Okay. Yes. Let's see what else you guys are saying. So Kamiko says Kandi is selfish. Her intent was always to say, I did this for y'all, or I did this first. I don't know. See, I really think that that's the mentality we get when we see a woman continuously winning. And I think that sometimes we have to check our own prejudice against successful women.
I want to
Because
ask
I
this.
I feel
yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I want because I was watching her YouTube video and
Mm-hmm.
she was explaining the whole Portia and the situation, and she was basically saying how the group, as you said, was discussing something completely different. They wanted donations, but they wanted the
Yep.
production. They were not even going to donate their own money. They wanted the
Exactly.
production crew to actually donate money to the cause. And it was taking so long. Kandi was like, this is not what we should be doing. So she herself went to Bravo and she was like, I would like a black production because there's no black production crews at all at Bravo because and she was explaining how certain production, in order to have a production crew, they have to be approved by Bravo. And they can't just, you can't just have a random production crew for a show. They have to be approved. So she wanted to have an all black production crew to be approved from on Bravo so they can bring in profit and stuff like that. So I don't like what Porsche, like I don't think Kandi was going selfishly about it. They were not even going to donate their own money. They were just going to make the
Exactly.
production crew donate the money. That, how is that? And they didn't even know why they were donating it. They didn't know to who they were donating money. So it was a mess. So I feel like what Kandi did was more impactful than donate. Sometimes donating money is not as impactful to actually do something else. So I feel like what Kandi did was actually more impactful than donating money that was not even theirs, and they didn't even know to who they're going to donate money to.
No, I agree with that 100%. I think donating money is performative. I think it's saying, look, we got Bravo to donate this money. I think what Kandi did exacts change. Like, I got Bravo to hire Black talent and people, and by creating those jobs, then you're not just doing like one-off payment, but now you're actually creating like a legacy. So now those people can go on and train other Black people, but now they can have Black interns. Now there's the precedent that Black production companies can do it just as good as any other production company. And clearly
Exactly.
their production company is struggling because all of these shows are not doing well. So there needs to be fresh blood and talent too, not just in front of the camera, but behind it. Because the reason why the shows are struggling is because production is not doing their job.
Exactly.
They're not producing. They're not finding fresh talent. They're not creating, storylines that we want to follow or anything like that. So Kimberly Zane says Kandi brought Shamia on, not Portia. Right. Well, that's okay. My point was not so much who brought Shamia on, but my point is that Portia and Shamia, as we all have seen over the years, have become very, very close, very, very good friends. And I've actually been watching past seasons with my niece because she's been watching it. Shamia and Portia have been the two people who have been super, 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 super close for years. And they're still close right now. Shamia and Portia are the two who actually have been the two bosom buddies. If you go back and watch all the episodes, and even today, it was just Shamia with her husband, who was with Portia and Simon at the Floyd Mayweather fight. They're still bosom buddies. And if you watch the show, Shamia is Portia's mouthpiece, not Kandi's. So Kandi may have introduced her, but Shamia and Portia are the two friends together. And it was, if you go back, it was during the time when Portia got in the fight with Cynthia on the boat, and Cynthia ended up having to kick Portia off of her. Shamia was on that boat, and she was fighting with Kenya because they had gone to Kenya's. It was Portia and Shamia and somebody else they brought had gone to Kenya's hair care launch. And remember when they opened up the product and they're like, oh, this is water, and Shamia drank it? Ever since then, Kenya started gunning for Shamia, but it was Shamia and Portia who were the thoughts. It was during Portia Thoughtlandia time. And this was before Shamia got married. So yeah, but let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I feel like what Kandi did was good. Like, she moved inside and it showed like these girls' true colors. It just showed that they're envious and jealous of Kandi.
Yeah.
And now it just showed their true colors. And Portia should be the last person to attack Kandi after what she did to her. And I feel Portia like thinks she's better than everyone. She's too condescending.
Yeah, she does think she's better than everyone. And again, we were going back to what we said before about the whole Simon and Fallon thing. I think she overplayed her hand. She thought she could do anything she wanted and get away with it. But this whole situation is really blowing up in her face. Hey, Jojo baby, you guys, if her mother is a limit, she should relax with what she says. You mean the mother should relax with what she says? That if she's a limit? Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, even if a mom does come out of pocket, I'm not going to bash anybody's mother. And I'm definitely not going to do it to a mother's face. I can remove myself from a situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an elder, it's a mother. I don't even know. Hey, Simple and Nene. Hello. Kimberly Zane says, you're right, she is. Kimberly Jane says, I remember. P at RHONY says Carlos messed up. He went too far in season 9, which is one of the reasons why season 10 and beyond have been hit or miss. It's hard to top R word in a sex dungeon. Yeah, I mean, it is hard to top those things. I definitely agree. And but I don't know. I like Carlos King. Like, I actually think he was doing a good job producing them. And I think he does a good job producing Love and Marriage Huntsville as well. I think that maybe once he left, it's been hit or miss because they haven't been able to replace him, and they've been stumbling when it comes to production. And I like what Young Rich is saying. He says at P, Carlos was not the one who said that rumor to Phaedra. I honestly think Phaedra maybe made it up a little bit. Maybe she heard bits and pieces, but I do not believe in Phaedra's heart she actually thought that Kandi and Todd was trying to drug and Portia and bring her back to their sex dungeon. I think Phaedra was just in her feelings about the fact that her and Kandi's friendship was deteriorating, and she just wanted to hurt her once best friend. I don't think in Phaedra's mind and heart she really truly believed that. And if she did, why bring it to the show that way? And she used Portia as her mouthpiece, 100%. Absolutely crazy. Hey, Darren Hood, he says, I remember. Exactly, it's all coming back. I just think it really just goes down to jealousy. Hey, Young Rachel, his Kandi husband is also working with Carlos King on BET Presents The Encore. Well, good for little Todd Tucker. Yes. I would say, though, I think Todd, and if we're going back into the archives, I do think that Todd dragged out the whole Phaedra didn't finish paying me for that donkey booty video. Remember that? That was really the beginning of the end of Phaedra and Kandi. When Todd did the video, Phaedra didn't like it, and then she either like paid him a portion of it, a portion, but didn't finish paying her. I think that was really the beginning of the end. And I know someone had brought up about Apollo had his like motorcycle bikes and all that stuff at Kandi's house. But again, I've been watching the reruns with my niece. If you go back and watch what actually happened, Kandi said, I didn't know it was a secret. I didn't know she didn't know, because Apollo had gone to Todd and said, yo, homie, can I have my stuff here? And Todd said, sure. So Kandi thought Phaedra knew. And this again goes down to not communicating, not asking questions, and assuming. So Kandi assumed Phaedra knew. Phaedra assumed Kandi was keeping it a secret from her. So if they had actually talked to each other, I think it would have really been squashed, because I agree. If it was true that Kandi was keeping it a secret from Phaedra, like holding her ex-husband's stuff and not telling her, yeah, that's messed up. Because if you're my homegirl and your ex-husband is asking my husband to hold on to this stuff for you, of course I'm going to be like, yo, girl, what's up? This is what's going on, X, Y, and Z, because that's what you do as a friend, right? However, if you go back and watch, Kandi thought Phaedra knew. And Phaedra thought Kandi was keeping it a secret. So I think it was just a miscommunication, how that all went down. So I do think that Todd dragged that on for too long. And Kimberly Zane says, me too, Carlos King knows the business. I agree. I think Carlos King is a great producer. I think he's doing a great job. He's doing more shows. And I also think that, I just think that's what they need. They need new talent with lived experiences within the communities and cultures that they're trying to represent. It's just not working from a production side. Hey P goes, agreed, his shows are executed now. Yeah, his shows are doing really, really good. Really, 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 really good. Young Rich says they need to hire Melody Holt for RHOA. I would like to see Melody, not necessarily on RHOA, but I would want to see her do her own spin-off with like a fresh new show with, again, fresh new faces, fresh new girls, about, young, new mom, freshly divorced businesswoman doing her thing, finding her voice, finding herself with another group of girls, like kind of in like that same level point in their lives. I'm not so sure that I want a divorced woman on The Real Housewives of Atlanta because, again, I want the shows to get back to what it's supposed to be. If you're calling yourself The Real Housewives, that's what I want to see at this point. I feel like the show's devolved. So bringing on someone who's not a housewife on this particular show, to me, I don't really want that. What I want is a new show about, hey, I'm young, I'm sexy, I'm making my money, I got my kids. Yes, I'm divorced, but I'm not dead. I am doing my thing. And have it be that sort of like girl, like woman in the city coming up. Keep the shows in their lanes and their themes, and I think that will bring it back. Because now what we're watching doesn't seem like Real Housewives of Atlanta. It doesn't seem like a Real Housewives show. So we'll see. But let's see what you guys are saying. P says, at Young Rich, it is rumored that Carlos told Phaedra and she ran with the story, which is why his relationship with Bravo TV is non-existent. Ooh, that is some tea. So you're saying that's why he was let go after that season? He was the one who kind of put that bug in Phaedra's ear? Allegedly, maybe so. P says, agreed.
What about Omarosa?
Addition. Oh yeah, go Natalia. What do you want to say?
What about Omarosa?
Oh, there's rumors she might be joining The View, but again with Omarosa, unfortunately and very sadly, her husband passed away. So again, she's not a real housewife. And I kind of wanted to get back to that core, because now it's really not Real Housewives. I think Omarosa is great for TV. I think she could be on a good show. I think Melody Holt is great for TV. I personally love her, and I love her character, and I love what she does. But I don't want her for like a Real Housewives. I want her for like a different type of show, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Young Rich is at P. Carlos debunked those rumors on Dr. Heavenly. Yeah, I like Carlos King. I like him. I think he did his own move. As well did Phaedra, and also that if it was true, do you think Kandi's husband would be business partners with him? Yeah, that's a really good point, because Todd wasn't checking for Phaedra or any of that stuff. So that's a really good point. I just don't see Carlos King doing that. I think he's like, I don't know. So let's see here at Young Rich. It feels like Love and Hip Hop are Basketball Wives. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like the Real Housewives franchise, what it's supposed to be. That's why I kind of want them to start over with a clean slate and just kind of go in a different direction. And then Young Rich is saying, and you guys, if you are in here and you're loving this Kiki, be sure to like and subscribe and comment below. Let's know what you guys want to talk about. There's still more Beverly Hills we could talk about, New York, Atlanta, or just whatever is on your mind. So hit up that chat box, like and subscribe and share if you want to. Love you guys. So Young Rich is another one. The housewives passed away. No. I meant Omarosa's husband. She was married to, his name escapes me, but he was a really great actor. She was married to him and he passed away. So I was saying maybe not Omarosa, because she's no longer like a housewife. She wouldn't have that type of perspective to give. But speaking of, Nene did come out and say, I think she said it to the Jasmine brand, that unfortunately Greg's cancer came back, which is really, really, really sad. Oh, so wait, so MJ Merriweather is saying no, Omarosa got married again to a pastor. Okay, well then maybe she would be good for the Real Housewives then. If she's remarried to a pastor, maybe she would be good.
I just feel like, like I feel like it's fine if they're not married, like personally, okay. But I just feel like people think that, or the producers think that we want drama. I don't want drama. I want a fun show. I just feel like the show has gotten so dark that they forget the glory of season 1, season 2, season 3, where it was fun. It was arguments, but there was fun shade and there was light moments. But I felt like this season has just been dark. And I feel like I miss the light moments of people kikiing and not being like, even the Drew moment with Kenya, it was petty, but it was kind of like a light petty. So like I miss those type of moments. I'm saying.
No. I agree with you 100%. And I think when I say I want them married is because I do think that there is a show for the not married, single, having fun or whatever, or the like divorce, whatever. I do think that there is a show for that. I just think if we're going to do a Real Housewives franchise or a Real Housewives show, then that's what it really needs to be. And with that, have it be the fun, the light, the kiki, the fun shades, the joy of it all. Like I want that temperament for the show, but I want it to be with Real Housewives, with truly married, affluent ladies of leisure, but have that joy back, have the light kiki back. But then I also think that there is also a need for a show that is the unmarried, the single, the divorced, the, women coming together and having fun or whatever. Again, same temperament, light, shade, fun. But I just think that there's room for both, and trying to make it into one, I think, is where they're slipping. So that makes sense. And then with the dark temperament, you know what I mean?
Yes, but I don't know, because like I remember Andy was saying that he like the Real Housewives is not technically supposed to be like housewives per se. He just like did it for Desperate Housewives. It was like a show, so he kind of named it in that way. So that technically not supposed to be like a housewives, but more like just a show of women who have luxury and they're living their best lives. But I do agree. I feel like not all of them can, but I feel like a mixture is nice. But I think Kandi is the only one that's married, and Cynthia.
Yeah, now.
No.
Now. So, yeah, now she's married. But I think it was supposed to be more of like, they've always said it was supposed to be like behind the gates. Because it started with the Real Housewives of OC, was actually the first franchise. And Vicki Gunvalson was the first housewife. So it was supposed to be like behind the gates. But even Desperate Housewives, they're still housewives.
That's true.
So Anita said she'd be married. That's what you guys are saying in the chat. No, but I agree with you, Bella, too. Bella, I don't think that they all necessarily need to be married, but I do think we need to get the essence of the show back. Like you can have like a couple peripherals who's not, or maybe engaged, or maybe newly divorced, but I think the essence of the show can come back, and then create new shows. Like right now they're just doing reruns of like Below Deck and all this stuff. Like create new shows. That's what I mean. Like I think that there's a space for the people on RHOA, but then there's also a big space for new talent, new stories, new shows, all of that stuff. So I want like just new shows. We could do younger people. We could just new stuff. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. So Fishing with Sabrina says, perhaps young, divorced, married, or engaged debutantes would be good for RHOA, Sex in the City type vibe. Right, but I think that's its own show. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't think that should, like Sex in the City and RHOA to me are like two different vibes. So I think that we could do the Sex in the City type show with like exactly like you're saying, with like the younger people, the debutantes, and all of that. But I don't necessarily think that's Real Housewives. If that makes sense, let me know what you guys think. Okay, Nikhil says Omarosa married Pastor John Newman. That's right, and she was never married to the actor Michael Clark Duncan. Oh, well, I thought she was married. I thought that was his wife. So Anita Smith is saying Omarosa was engaged to the actor Michael Duncan when he died. Okay, they were never married. Okay, Candy Canes come through with the tea. Yes. Thank you. So Omarosa was engaged to the actor when he died, and they never married. and now she is remarried to, according to No, Pastor John Newman. So she is a housewife. So maybe Omarosa would be a good addition. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think she would be better on Real Housewives or on The View? Kimberly Zane says, oh my, Omarosa and Kenya on the show would be TV gold. You know what? That is true, because remember, didn't they beef a lot on, what do you call it? On, not Big Brother, but Your Fired show with Donald Trump. What was that one, right? Didn't they beef, Omarosa and Kenya? Something to do with like a phone and all that stuff. So
they don't like each other.
Yeah, they don't like each other. You know why I think they don't, is because they both kind of play the same position, if that makes sense. They're the same person. Exactly. Yes. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Jaja. She goes, hey, Kandi, coming to the show. Hey, chat. Yes. Alexa Well says, hello, Kandi. Hashtag on my own terms. Oh, you guys. My Alexa just went off. Don't worry about it. Let's see what you guys are saying. Young Rich says both like Garcelle. Jaja says, for the big convo, I heard it seems like everybody's missing what Kandi is saying. Yeah, I know. It's okay though. They can get it back on the replay. Yeah, Jaja is missing what I'm saying. Right. So what I'm basically saying is just that Real Housewives to me should be that like affluent housewife, and then there are spaces for other shows to encompasses different types of women at different stages in their life. So I'm not saying there's not a need for it or it wouldn't be entertaining. I just don't think it is within the genre or theme of Real Housewives. Oh, Young Rich, you're right. That was Kenya and Vivica Fox and not Kenya and Omarosa. Yes, Young Rich, you're right. It was Kenya and Vivica Fox. That's right. And thank you, Darren Hood. Yeah, it was. It wasn't with Kenya. It was Kenya and Vivica Fox, not Kenya and Omarosa. Let's see what yeah, that's right. It was Vivica Fox. Let's see what MJ Merriweather is saying. So P says the Portia, Fallon, and Simon triangle would have worked during filming. This post-season 13 drama isn't working as they expected. See, I agree with that 100%. If it had gone down on the scene and while they were filming, maybe. But I still think just that guttural response of her taking somebody else's husband that we were introduced through her and seeing it that way just would have been, it still would have been awful. Hey, MJ Merriweather, I agree with you, and we need Real Housewives, yes, but the show needs to be more transparent. How are they handling marriage with social media, Instagram models, money issues, etc.? Right, which is why I kind of think Married to Medicine works. And why it's been so successful is because they all are in real marriages and they all are very transparent. You know, Toya talks about her money issues. The husbands have had cheating allegations and they've come out with their cheating stuff, and Contessa and Dr. Scott now. So they that's what Married to Medicine does. They have the clear blueprint and they stick with it. And I think that's why it's been doing, so well. 100%. So let's see what you guys are saying. Young Rich is back. He's saying Vivica Fox would be a good housewife, but she blocked me on Twitter when I asked her to join. Stop being shady, Young Rich. That's hilarious. Bella and Natalia, did you guys want to join in? Did you have something else to add?
Yeah, I feel like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I feel like Dorit should be fired. And I'm comparing the situation between Denise and Erica. Like, I don't feel like the way they attack Erica is gonna be way harsh the way they attack Denise.
I agree with you.
I think they are afraid of her.
Oh no, say that again.
I think the mean girls are afraid of Erica except Garcelle and Sutton.
You know, I agree with you too. Like, I think Dorit this season, and even in the last couple seasons, really doesn't have a storyline. Like, she's literally just there, and she could easily
Yeah.
just be there. And I do think what they did to Denise was super dirty and really wrong and just grimy and gross. And I really blame Lisa Rinna for that. I think she was like the head of that snake. And she sort of like got Kyle in on it and all that stuff. And again, I think her and Erica Jayne and Dorit have their allegiance. So they're going to be like their little mean girl group and stick together no matter what. But she sees that she can't do that. I think she's going to try and do that to Garcelle, but Garcelle's not going to have that. She's going to push back. But to me, it's really Lisa Rinna being that snake. And Lisa Rinna, to me, is really hard to watch. The way they did Denise, the way they did LVP, the way they did LVP was disgusting. And it gives me the vibes of the way RHOA does Kandi. It's almost like the person who actually has like the money and the person who's doing well is the one that they want to target. So that gives me like those vibes. But I agree with you. Dorit really doesn't need to be there. And again, it's like, and it's also like who they choose to protect and not. Dorit allegedly has all these lawsuits against her and PK. They've been frauding people and not paying their bills and doing all this stuff. They move houses every single season. So what's really going on there? But they never say that on the show. They never talk about it. They never go there. You know, if it had been Potomac or Atlanta, they would have been talking about that left and right. Yeah. So hey, Jaja L, hey, beautiful. She goes, I agree. The title of these shows need to be the premise. Housewives imply housewives. Shaw moms, ladies who lunch with staff. It dilutes the space when a show is titled one thing, but it's cast with other types. I agree, Jaja. I totally agree. Because I think that there is a space for young, not married, divorced, whatever. But if your show is called The Real Housewives, that's what the core essence needs to be. And I feel like it's really lost that. So I agree 100%. Fishing with Sabrina says Vivica is too busy collecting Lifetime movie paychecks to deal with RHOA. That is really funny. Yeah, I don't really see her going on that show. But did you see that she did go on Overserved with Lisa Vanderpump? It was really cute. And she, again, was still talking about the love of her life, 50 Cent and Vivica forever. Hey, Josh, but now reality TV has been going so long. The organic nature of Friendship Circle isn't present. Everyone trying to be 15 minutes famous and over the top for shock value. So true. So true. Everyone's really just trying to like be the HBIC super quickly. And almost like by any means necessary, which to me is a shame. Hey, Tunisia. Hi, man. She goes, hey, Kandi. Happy Thursday to you. Yes, happy Thursday to you too, sweetheart. Thank you for all coming. Thank you for having this kiki with me and the Candy Canes. Exactly. Darren Hood says, I think it needs to be Rinna being fired, not Dorit. Okay. So you like Dorit, but I'm saying, but what do you think Dorit brings to the show? To me, she just kind of I agree. Did you see on the last episode where she was just wearing that weird head-to-toe Louis Vuitton logo? And I'm like, that's not fashion part.
That's tacky. That's very tacky. Like, I remember somebody says like new money screams, but wealth whispers. It's like, and I think maybe it was you that said that. But it was like, it was too much. It was like, as Garcelle was saying, that when Dorit commits to a brand, she commits. It was, I don't know. Like, I miss the old Dorit, but I don't think Dorit knows how to dress without her big staff. Like, I don't know. But she doesn't.
No, I agree with. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, I agree with you too. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
Oh, were you done?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I agree with you 100% with that. Like, watching Dorit, it's hard to watch. And it sounds weird, but I also feel like Dorit and Erica, maybe not intentionally, but it seems like they appropriate, like, Harajuku, like Asian culture mixed with like Black hip hop culture, like with like their hairstyles and like their outfits. It just seems a little appropriation to me. I don't know. Maybe that's a reach. Maybe I'm reaching with that, but it kind of seems like that to me, just like a little bit, just like with their hairstyles and like their makeup and their glam and like all that stuff. And then also to me, it seems like I agree with you with that. It's screaming it. It's too much. It's just like, be stylish. Don't throw all your labels at me that it seems like you actually allegedly can't even afford. So, and also with Erica, did you guys notice on the episode, she said her husband supported and funded her? And I was just like, with that blood money from the victims, allegedly. Exactly.
She is building a case for herself. Like, she is saying stuff, especially when she said financials. She's looking for a man who financials. Her shirt that she wore, like she had on the red shirt. I'm like, Erica, people are watching you. The lawyers are watching you. Like, everything you're saying, it's not looking too good. Like, and we have to also remember, I think Garcelle mentioned it on Watch What Happened Live. She said at this point, they don't know about the scandals. They only know about the divorce. Exactly. So when people keep saying, oh, like they should hold her accountable, at this point, no one knows. They're just like, oh, she's getting a divorce. Like, this is sad. This is weird. Like, that's basically what they're thinking right now. They're not thinking about, oh, Tom this, Tom that. So that's going to come in later on this season, but not right now.
No, I agree 100% because they're filming in real time. So it's not like this story broke and then they started filming. So they're filming in real time. And so they're reacting to just what they're hearing in that moment. And in the moment they think, yeah, maybe it seems a little shady, my friend's getting divorced, but I'm not going to say anything and I'm just going to kind of roll with it. But we'll see what happens, as everything plays out. And P says, agreed. I dislike Lisa Rinna. I fast forward through her. I get it. She's a villain of Beverly Hills. Kenya is a villain, but she knows the line, so I can't stay mad at her. Yeah, Lisa Rinna to me just energetically, she just seems like a snake and she has no bottom. And she just to me has a very, very jealous spirit. And it's just really slimy. It's a sliminess. And like, I know Kenya's a villain, but I like Kenya. I think something she does is questionable, but I also think it's really clear that I think she kind of does like a wink and a nod. And then she's like, let's go play. Like, she understands her role on the show and she understands the assignment of what she's doing. But I actually think that Lisa Rinna is kind of rotten to the core. And that's what makes it really hard to watch. Yeah. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, Joanne. She says, Sutton has been so generous and supportive to Erica, which makes the preview of Erica going off on her quite vicious. I like Sutton. You know what? I agree too. My favorite is Garcelle. I love Garcelle. I think she's being very transparent. I think she's being very who she is. I love that she was loyal to Denise and came out with Rinna being like, okay, boo-boo, you doing this little apology tour is not enough. I don't trust you. The way you treated her was dead wrong. So I love Garcelle. I also love that Garcelle has Sutton's back. Like at the dinner table, when Sutton again was talking about the whole like Crystal saying she was violated, she was like, no, she was like, I don't think Sutton meant it that way. Like, this is who she is. I agree. I love Sutton. And I think that Erica, to me, clearly is demonstrating, allegedly in my opinion, that she knew, and this whole divorce and everything she is saying is just a scheme they all put together. Why else would she be so nasty and mean when Sutton questions her about it? If it were me and I really didn't know and I'm actually going through this divorce, if my friend questioned me about it, I'd probably start crying and being like, oh my God, I didn't know. I can't believe this is happening to me. This is awful. I wouldn't become defensive and cold and mean. And I wouldn't try and like shoot at the other person. I would be crumbling. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, if in reality, your 20-year plus marriage truly is over and done, and in reality, you are learning just like the rest of the world that your husband allegedly stole millions and millions of dollars from victims of horrible accidents, I just think you would just be in a completely different mental space than how Erica is talking about. I need to go find a man and do this, who has the money, da 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 da. Don't you ever say this, da, da, da. You know, it just doesn't sound right. Sorry, guys.
I feel like
Go ahead.
I feel like Erica only married Tom for the money because like she grew up like struggling with financial problems. So I felt like when they said she should give back the property, she was like, no, this is like, I don't know, give something. So that's why she's like so defensive, because she doesn't want to go back where she was. And I feel like Lisa Rinna has always been jealous of Denise. So I feel like, and Denise considered her as a friend for plus over 25 years. And so since she left and allegedly Denise wants to come back, and now since Garcelle was defending her, she don't want heat from Garcelle. So she's trying to act nice Garcelle, then yeah.
Yeah, I think Lisa Rinna was definitely jealous of Denise. I think she was jealous of her looks. She was jealous of her acting career. She was jealous of her money. She was jealous of her notoriety. Because I think that Denise had the career that Lisa Rinna thought she was going to have. Because you have to remember, they came to LA at the same time to make it. So I think that, and they knew each other, right? So I think that Lisa felt like Denise had the career that I thought I was going to have. And then she was really jealous of Lisa Vanderpump because Lisa Vanderpump had the money and the influence and the clout that Lisa Rinna wanted, I think. So that's why I think she was really gunning for LVP. And then with Erica, Erica doesn't want to go back to where she came from. Like, I totally understand that. And I think that she married Tom probably, I actually think that they are actually present tense. I think that they are actually in love. I do. I think that she married him not just because he was rich, but I don't think that she would have married him if he wasn't rich, if that makes sense. But I do think that Erica and Tom actually do love each other. And I think that they were in cahoots with it. And I think that they're still in cahoots. And I think that she's not so scared of going back to where she came from. I think what she's scared of is being found out that she knew and that she's in cahoots and that this whole divorce is a sham. Because allegedly she's been ciphering money through her companies and through her glam. And allegedly his company transferred at least $20 million to her that all of a sudden disappeared. So I don't think in Erica's mind, she actually thinks she's going to be left penniless because she knows where that money is buried. She knows where they put that money. I think she's scared of being exposed. I think she's scared of going to jail, but I don't think she's scared of being penniless because where did that $10 million go? And also, if she didn't know, how come she won't give back any of the so-called gifts, which is like a legal loophole? No, these were gifts. I don't have to give them back. If you really weren't a part of it and you really didn't know and you hate this man who's so dismissive and cold as you're trying to pretend on television now, why do you want the gifts anyway? If you hate your husband so much, if he's been so cold and dismissive for all of these years and you had no idea, why are you not at least giving something back? Why are you not cooperating? If you really had such a horrible marriage after all these years and you really had no idea what he was doing, strike a deal with the prosecution. Be like, yo, listen, I'm divorcing this dude. I'm out. I didn't know what he was doing. Let's figure this out. Maybe I could give back 75% of my Chanel bags. Maybe I give back 85% of this. I need X, Y, and Z to live. But here are my bank statements. Here's my tax returns. You know, here's how much this costs. Let me help you so I can wipe my hands of this and move on with my life. That's what you do when you have nothing to hide. That's what you do when you're actually trying to divorce a man and separate from him. That's what you do when you weren't privy to something. You say, hey, listen, my nose is clean. My hands are clean. Here's everything you need. If he did something in my name, if he did something in my company, I didn't know. Let's clean this up because I just want a divorce and I want to move on with my life. The way she's pretending that she does on the show. Because you have to watch people's actions, not words. because her words
Yeah.
are not aligning with her actions. On the show, she's like, he's dismissive. I didn't know. He has all this stuff coming. Oh, woe is me, blah, 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 blah. But in real life, she has been very much like, I'm keeping every little penny. I'm not giving you anything. I'm not going to cooperate, blah, 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 blah. Her actions are showing you exactly what she knew and what she did. Right? Let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Appy News. She says, I am a Kenya fan too. Garcelle is a gem. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, A. Wells. I don't want to say your full name because my little thing always goes off every time I say it. But she says Vivica also still has all her male review dancers, soon to possibly start back up in Vegas. Yeah, that's the thing. Vivica is doing it. I don't think she'd really want to do Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's got her own stuff going on. Darren Hood says, I adore Garcelle. A. Wells says Lisa Vanderpump is the real deal. Exactly, exactly, exactly. A. Wells is not a fan of Kenya. No, Animas, who just appears too thirsty. Oh, too thirsty. Yeah, but I think Kenya, she understands the assignment. I'm going to go in. I'm going to stir the pot. I'm going to keep things going. Who can I put against who? She goes in. She collects her check. And then if you notice, when the show isn't airing, she's not feuding with anybody. She's only really fighting with people pre-show to get ratings during the show. And that's it. But I do want to know what happened with, because Cynthia's going around saying to everyone that her and Kenya had a falling out during the All-Stars, and that she thought that Kenya and her friend and Luann, I think, would have her back and be with her, but apparently something went down. So I kind of want to know what's going on there, right? Like, I kind of want to know what happened between Kenya and Cynthia. So Peace says, I like Garcelle too. Unlike Eboni of Real Housewives of New York, she's not to be a teachable moment professor. TBC, to be honest, to be clear, I really like Eboni, but she shouldn't do that next season or do less. P, I agree with you 100%. I love Garcelle 100%. She's just herself. Eboni, I think, does need to reel it back a little bit now. I think she's made her point. She's made her position clear. And now she needs to just show up as like a good girlfriend and have a good kiki. And she can't make every single episode a teachable moment or all that stuff. I think you can weave it in, but I agree she kind of needs to rein it in a bit. Like we got it. And we love you, Eboni, but rein it in a bit.
I feel like Eboni.
Oh, go ahead.
I feel like Eboni thinks she's better than the other cast members because of her scholarship at 16, and like she's more educated. And then like I agree with Luann what she did at the house, but you cannot come to someone's house and tell them that you got a higher education than them. And I also like felt it like, how dare you come in my house and tell me I have higher education than you? And then like Ramona was like annoyed by what Eboni was saying. I don't think Ramona meant her, and then she was like towards Eboni was like, so your white fragility is killing me. So and then Luann was like, why are you going after her race? So I don't know what happened there, but I don't think Ramona meant no harm because Ramona lives in her own world. So
right. Well, yeah, I think Ramona definitely lives in her own world, but I think that Luann kicking Eboni out of her house was absolutely over the top and super, super utterly ridiculous. I mean, think about everything that has gone down between those women. Bethany literally called Luann every name out everything other than a child of God, called her the whore and a S word and all that stuff, just tore into her. Did she ever go to Bethany? Wow, Bethany, you're angry. No, she didn't. And I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. You know, calling a Black woman angry is a very triggering word. And that's why if you go back and watch, she says, oh, you're an angry woman, making it very clear that she consciously chose not to say Black because she knew the implications, but she still wanted to do the dig. And that's why Eboni was like, oh, so now I'm an angry Black woman. Like, it's 2021. Nobody is stupid. You call a Black woman angry, you know exactly what you're saying, and you know exactly what it implies. And then I also think that I loved the juxtaposition that they had, because Leah lost her damn whole mind, was throwing things, yelling, screaming, calling them hoes and all this stuff. And they're like, oh, Leah, just calm down and come back to the table, Leah. Was she angry? They didn't call her angry, did they? Had they called any woman on that show angry, but prior to this, when they have all fallen down, gotten drunk, yelled at each other, called each other every name in the book, screaming, all that stuff, and they never, ever called any other woman angry. They've talked about everything else. And anger, and calling a Black woman angry is very triggering, and they know what they're doing, and it is conscious. And they also made it known, if you go back and watch, the women, Sonia and Ramona and Luann, maybe even Leah, prior to shooting, when they knew that Eboni was coming on, all got together to talk about, you know, what's going to happen with the race stuff, because they didn't want to look racist now that there's BML movement, now that there's cancel culture. So they all got together to talk about it. And if you watch last episode, they actually do a flash to another time where it's Sonia, Ramona, and Luann talking about Eboni. And Sonia was like, well, you know, like, she's using this as a platform, but she needs to talk about something else now, and like all this other stuff. And they're talking and bringing it up. So they have all gotten together to clearly talk about how race will be handled and what will it be. And when the whole thing jumped off with Luann and Eboni, did you see how Sonia and Ramona was like, oh, we thought Ramona was going to be the one to do a slip up. We thought it was going to be Ramona, but it was Lou. It was you, Lou. And then Sonia's like, well, it might be me next time. Like, they all got together and they were talking about it. So if you are conscious enough to have a side conversation about how you will appear when talking to a Black woman, you are conscious enough to know that calling her angry is a triggering word. You don't get together and have a ponderosa or a powwow about that stuff without understanding what those implications are. So she knew exactly what she was saying. Luann got in her feelings when Eboni, because Luann was the one who brought up education, not Eboni. I think Luann is just extremely intimidated because Eboni is Black, very, very beautiful, very, very successful, and is also very highly educated. So I think that was Luann being in her own insecurities and her own feelings. And Luann was the one who said, oh, it's about education, not Eboni. And what Eboni said was, well, actually, she was saying it's not about education. She's like, actually, I'm the person who has the most education, which is a fact, not an opinion. If you want to get out a resume and talk about who graduated from where and go toe to toe, Eboni is the most educated person. And if you are secure in yourself, that shouldn't trigger you. Just because somebody said I have more education, she never said I'm more intelligent. She didn't say I'm smarter. She didn't say I'm more successful. She didn't say I'm better. She said, if you want to talk about education, I'm actually the one who has the most. And she does. And I was actually really proud of her in that moment for saying that. And I don't think Eboni thinks that she's better than her. I think they might feel insecure around her. And I think that when people are secure in who they are and they're able to articulate that, and they're not ashamed to be educated, and they're not ashamed to be successful, and they're not ashamed to be beautiful, I think that intimidates people. And people receive it as, you think you're better than me, when the truth is they think they're less than you. So they receive you from that place. I don't think Eboni thinks she's better than anyone. I actually think Eboni, to me, just seems like a really smart, funny, educated person who's interested in things like politics and racism and all of those things. To me, I think those are just what she's interested in. And those may be different interests than what the other girls are interested in, but that doesn't mean that she thinks that she's better than them. And I don't think that Ramona or Lou or Sonia are necessarily inherently racist, but you got to be real about the situations. There is internalized, institutionalized, subconscious racism, prejudice, and all of those things. So yes, when you do, and they even said it, they're like, how Ramona said it to Sonia. She was like, I couldn't imagine being the only white woman in a group of Black women. And Sonia was like, yeah. So it goes right there. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Hey, Terrell. He goes, oh no, I'm late today. I since falling out right after the trip. Cynthia posted many cryptic posts, and they never like or comment on each other's posts anymore. Yeah, and Portia unfollowed Cynthia during the whole Simon thing because Mike Hill came out and said something about her. So let's see. Oh, hashtag my terms only. Did you want to talk? Did you want to share?
Hi, can you hear me? I can barely hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear. Yeah, we can hear you. Do you want to share?
Oh, yes. No, I was just gonna say that I was one that said that Kenya was thirsty. You said you was having trouble saying my name, or you couldn't say my name.
Yeah. Yeah, I was probably having trouble with it. Yeah.
It's Alexis.
Oh, no. The reason why I wasn't saying it is because my I don't want to say it too loud. My Alexa device, when I say it really loud, it hears me saying it, and it starts to talk. So I didn't want it to interrupt the live. So that's why I was saying Wells, because I didn't want to say it because my device picks up my voice saying your name like that, and then it answers it.
Oh, okay. Now, okay, back to the question.
Yeah.
Listen, I also wanted to say that people being able to say, it's almost like a control mechanism, when they say if a African American or Black woman shows her true emotion, that, it's like a control trigger because it almost kinds of keep us in check where we can't actually, not that I have anything against white, some of my people are white, but they can go off, they can throw shoes, they can pour champagne, and they just had a bad day. But let a Black woman do it, and she's the angry Black woman. So it's almost like a control trigger so that, I got to watch myself. I can't do that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, girl, I agree with you 1,000%. I think that is exactly it. It's a way to keep us in line and to keep us in check, and it's a way to keep the narrative of we are lesser than them. We're not as intelligent. We're not as evolved. We're not as sophisticated. We're not as put together or whatever it may be, right? It's like, oh, look at them acting out. Look at them being violent. Look at them doing this and doing that. Right? They're less than us. It supports the narrative that somehow Black people are subhuman, right? Why do you think they call us monkeys and apes and all that stuff?
Exactly. But I just wanted to say happy Thursday, and I'm glad I caught you. It popped up, my reminder popped up, and I set my alarm. Yay! Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, happy birthday. I mean, happy Thursday, not happy birthday.
Well, my birthday was last Thursday, so thank you.
Oh my God! Well, happy belated birthday, sweetheart.
Now, don't you be over there being beautiful, smart, and psychic, okay? Have a good one. Thanks.
You too. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
I don't like when people compare Garcelle to Eboni because Black people are not all the same. We are all Black people are different. So Garcelle can have a completely every Black experience is different. So they're completely different people. So of course they'll have two different ways of winding their way through the show. And Eboni, I understand how people are feeling because it's sometimes tiring as a Black person, especially when we try to see ourselves in communities that are not the same as us, and we try to explain our perspective or certain stuff, and it becomes tiring. However, I think she was a news anchor or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's not tiring for her. That's just who she is as a person. She's always going to bring up politics and all these things. That's who she is as a human being. So when people say, oh, she's trying to educate, no, I think this is just normal conversation that she would have with her family, her mom. So it's just dinner talk. It's not something that should be like, oh, she's educated. No, it's more like a conversation. It's casual. This is casual for her.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with everything you said. Like, we're not supposed to, I think it was a really good thing that you brought up comparing Garcelle to Eboni, because you're right. It's not fair. Like, you would never be like, oh, how is Lisa Rinna reacting versus, you know, how is Luann reacting, right? You wouldn't do that. So you're right. It's not fair just to say how is this one Black person showing up versus how another Black person showing up, because we all are our own individual people with our own individual perspectives and experiences. So yeah, I agree with you 100% with that one. Absolutely. And I also agree with you about what you said about Eboni. I do think that that's just what she's interested in, and that's what she wants to talk about, and those are her interests, and that's just like who she is, 100%. So MJ Merriweather says Ramona might have meant, maybe might not have meant any harm, but if they are your friends or trying to establish a relationship with you, you have to correct people the first time they do something you find it offensive. Exactly, you do, because you're showing people how they can treat you. You're just creating those boundaries and standards, and you're also just building a relationship, and you're showing people who you are and what you value and what you don't. Because if you let things slide, it'll just build and build and build and build. And then one day you're going to blow up and they're going to be like, I never even knew this offended you or you were upset. So that's a really good point. You do have to like speak up in the moment and like the first time to let people know what is not acceptable. MJ Merriweather says, no, Eboni was not wrong. Exactly. The lady might be aware of their microaggressions. Exactly. There was a lot of microaggressions going on. You know, even with, I like Heather, and I like that Heather caught it when she's like, oh, you're so articulate. Like, why? Do you expect me not to be articulate? Just like a lot of that stuff. And there's even microaggressions with Leah. Leah to me is just so performative. I literally cannot with Leah. I think she needs to be off the show. I'm just not a Leah fan at all. Hey, Joanne, she was Kandi is great. So let's all be sure to hit the like and support a sister. Ah, thank you guys. Yes, that's right. If you're in here, if you agree, if you don't agree, still hit the like button. Yay! So like, subscribe, and share. Thank you guys so much. 100%. And we're just having a good kiki. We have been in here for almost 2 hours, you guys. You guys know that my niece is here, so we'll wrap it up in a little bit. But I want to make sure I get to all of your comments. So I'm going to go through and read what you guys are saying. Hey, Joanne, she was Katie. You are my most favorite YouTuber. Oh, thank you so much. I watch a lot, so that is saying something. Watching from Australia. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching from Australia. Mwah. We have candy canes all over the globe, everybody. Candy canes are coming in and out everywhere. Yes. Hey, Terrell. So Terrell says, my favorite moment is when Eboni said, do you have a coat closet so I can hang up my blackness? I cackled. Exactly. Ramona was being very tone deaf to the situation and just not being really self-aware. And again, I also think it's that as they flash back to that conversation, if you guys go back and watch, that Sonia, Ramona, and Luann was having about Eboni, I think she came into that situation already with her backup, just expecting Eboni to preach to her about race or about whatever, being woke and politics. So the fact that Eboni just said, oh, like we might have a female vice president, Eboni was just trying to find common ground. She was just trying to talk. Ramona, to me, took it to the next level. Like I don't think Eboni in that actual moment was trying to have a teachable moment. I don't think she was going to bring it about race. She was like, well, we're women, so let's have some type of like commonality about that. So I think Ramona was already on one, and that just took it over the top. All Ramona had to say was, yeah, you know, it would be interesting to have our first female vice president. We haven't had one in the past. That'll be interesting. So, girl, who are you dating? What's going on in your life? Like, oh, are you going to do the Matchmaker 2 stuff? Oh, blah, 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 blah. What did you think about this? What did you think about that, right? Like, Ramona doesn't like to talk about politics, which is fine and fair. Dance around it, have fun, and then change the subject. Girl, when was the last time you did this? Oh my God, have you been shopping? Have you seen this? Oh, da. Ramona took it to such an unnecessary level, and you can see it. Eboni is literally just sitting on the couch, drinking champagne. Like, what are you talking? Like, why are you going all over the place? And you could just see it, and you can tell it was because they had those private conversations about Eboni. So the moment she opened her mouth, Ramona was prepared for that. Definitely. So you guys, we've been in here for 2 hours. We are about to wrap this up. Hey, Obsidian, he says, you are the most beautiful and wonderful idea God had. Aw, thank you so much. And so are you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bella24, 24 Forever. Thank you so much for your insights. Thank you, To Be Black Native. Yes. Thank you, Natalia, who came in as well. Thank you, A Wells. Hashtag my terms only, I believe that's what it was. Yes, so thank you guys. Thank all of you teacups who are in here. We are going to wrap this session up, and hopefully going forward, we will have some more episodes that have more drama, have a little bit more bite, and a good kiki. Again, these shows are falling a little bit flat, so hopefully the upcoming seasons will be better. I can't wait for Potomac. We will be going live for the day after Potomac airs to have our little kikis. Yes. So if you guys are in here, if you're having fun, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, be well, my lovelies. I love you all. Thank you so much. And I will definitely see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Bye, Candy Canes. Bye.